Jackson Oaks sat on the bench with his knees pulled close to his chest. A dreary atmosphere filled the room, accentuated by the scent of urine which hung in the air. A light flickering from above highlighted the dirty floors and walls, caked up dirt from a lack of care and non-existent cleaning regimen. The dark, musty room reminded Jackson of the locker room back in high school. In early summer, it smelled worse because of the warm temperatures. As his eyes darted around, he observed scuffed floors and cracked paint on the walls. The walls also showcased tags and carvings. Gang tags. Jackson's eyes glanced over them, recognizing a couple from the 144. Only one other person was in the cell with him, but he was sprawled out on the floor, passed out, drunk. Jackson's stomach growled. Yet when the guard offered a meal, he turned him down, considering the scent of urine and food didn't go well together. Without close family and his mom dead, there was no one to bail him out. And the charges against him were true. Eager to sleep under a roof where it was warm, Jackson didn't think twice when Reggie offered up his apartment. It turned out to be a setup, but by the time Jackson realized it, the 144 chased after him. They had him cornered until he slipped out the fire escape. Then they chased him down the alley until he lost them. A couple hours later, the police picked him up. They said something about video of him breaking in. Then there was a long list of items that were stolen, items that Reggie never even owned. All because he no longer wanted to be part of the gang. He tried to distance himself from the streets, but the streets continued to force its way in. They called him back and held him hostage regardless of his willingness to let go. He spent the last year trying to outrun the call, and now it landed him in jail. But even with the danger involved, he resolved to keep running. He knew too much. He saw too much. All that made him a liability. That plus, you can't simply leave a gang. No matter how much Jackson wished for an easy way out, none existed.
Jackson Oaks?
He turned toward the clanging doors as it opened and stared at the guard. His heart pounded in his chest as he wiped the palms of his hands on his jeans. He was hoping the 144 didn't bail him out. If they did, he'd have no other choice but to go back.
Let's go. Your lawyer bailed you out.
Bile rose, causing him to clear his throat. Then he shoved his hands in his pockets to keep them from shaking. Welcome back to Diary of an Introverted Author. My name is Bobby Lou, and I'm the author of 3 published novels, Desperate Girls, Baby Pawn, and my newest release, For You I Would. All of them are available on Amazon.com. What I just shared was an excerpt from my upcoming release, Only One Way Out. It's scheduled to go to the editor this week, and I'm hoping for an October release. We'll have to see how that works. I'm still grappling with whether I release it on Amazon or if I give it away as a freebie. I'm not sure what I'm going to do just yet, but it is a contemporary fiction novel with strong thriller suspense themes, and then of course we have the crime piece in there because that's part of the series. While it's this particular book, and it's a novella actually, it's about 41,000 words or so, maybe 42, I'm not sure. But this particular book is a novella, and it is a bridge from book 2 to book 3. So it's not part of the series per se. It's a side story in the series. So it's not the main storyline. You get glimpses of that. It is a complete book. You do get, so you can read this as a standalone and be totally okay. So it does give enough information so that you know what's going on, but it has its own storyline. And it's a found family trope, which, of course, if you read some of my books, a lot of them are found family tropes. And it introduces several new characters. It also has a couple characters from the first book. I think it has Jesse, Lance, Jordan, Riley, and Bobby. But I think Bobby wasn't introduced until book 2, I think. I have to check on that. I think he might have been introduced once in book 1. So, and then we have the new characters, Jackson, who you just heard about. Jackson is a teen, 18 years old, who had made a promise to his mom and he is trying to hold on to that promise, but gang life isn't such that you can say, hey, you know, I want out and be done with it. So so that's him. He's new. And then we have King James and Little Petey. Little Petey has a small piece in this particular book, and he is kind of an adversary to Jackson, unbeknownst to Jackson. Like, Jackson doesn't know why. Actually, I don't know why right now either. But for some reason, Little Petey has his own agenda. And we find out that at the end of the book, he is actually no longer part of the gang. He is to be unalived on sight, and that's how it ends for him. And then we have King James, who is the gang leader. He's the other new character. He has a piece in, actually all of them, Jackson, Petey, and King James have a piece in the third book in the series, which I haven't titled yet. I'm having a hard time with that. So if y'all have some suggestions, let me know. I'm getting ready to start editing and revising it. But I've been sitting on it for, since last spring, and I can't seem to think of a good title. So I need some help with that. Petey, King James, and Jackson have a snippet in the third book. And then I want to say King James will have a larger role in the fourth book. I really liked his character. There's something about him that it seems very raw, because he lives this life where the rules of the street are very different. But there's a piece of him that's just I'm not even sure how to describe it. But there's a piece of him that's human, I guess. You know, he has wants and desires, and it's not all about the money or, you know, being in charge or killing people or selling drugs or anything like that. Like, he has, like, he knows gang life, and he knows home life, and he turns it off and on. So I think he's going to have a larger role in book 4. And I actually purchased a book cover for him that doesn't fit into any of the books that I currently have, that I need to edit and revise, or anything else that I plan to write, because I believe he deserves his own book. So at some point he's going to get his own story. I don't know what that story is, but we'll figure it out when we get there. But I think his character definitely needs his own story. So we'll see about that. I think that's pretty much all that I have. I would like to just put this out there really quickly. I am looking for ARC readers for this particular book, only One Way Out, and also moving forward for some of the other books I have that will be released this year. I'm also looking for beta readers. I've got 1 or 2 that I depend on, and then I have 1 or 2 that I pay, and that I always they're my go-to. But I'd like to figure out a couple more and have some solid people, a team that I can give my work to and get some good feedback on. So if you're interested in being a beta reader, please let me know, or an ARC reader. That's one of the other mistakes that I've made repeatedly, and I'm gonna put it on being introverted, because it's easy to do that. So I'm gonna put it on that. But one of the mistakes that I've made repeatedly is not having an ARC team, or not sending my book out to ARC readers. So if you're interested in beta reading or being an ARC reader, please let me know, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. I do want to say, I know most of you guys know me from the series Desperate Girls and Baby Pawn. There are some readers on here from For You I Would. I'm not sure. I have less of a connection because that book just came out, so I haven't gotten a lot of feedback yet. But I know that there are some readers on here from that read that book. That's a YA book, while my Chronicles of Iniquity series is more of a crime, thriller suspense book, or a series actually. And I just wanted to make sure that people are aware, I think that's where I like to be, in the thriller suspense category. And crime just fits, because there's a lot of wrong that goes on in our society, and I like to write about real life stuff with a twist. So I think that's where I feel comfortable. However, I think the contemporary fiction, one of the things that I find is that I write contemporary fiction well, and it's the emotional piece and the arc, the character arc, the growth that the characters go through. I do that very well, to the point where sometimes I've got to dial that back. I've got to, take material out because that waters down the crime or the thrill suspense elements, or any of that, the other stuff that I like. So I have to watch it when I do that. However, I love crafting stories about people and their situations and how they overcome them, or how they, I don't know, sometimes, because some of my characters don't overcome them, but how they maneuver through life, because I think that's one of the things that we all are trying to do, is kind of get through life with what is going on in our lives. So, but I also have a cozy mystery, and I'm kind of excited about that. I'm not big on cozy mystery, but it was a challenge, and you know me and challenges, so I did it, and I actually had a lot of fun doing it. So and actually it's a novella, so it shouldn't take me, well, I was gonna say it shouldn't take me long to revise and edit, but it will, only because it's a cozy mystery, and that was my first time doing it. So I am sure I've got to clean that up a lot. However, if you enjoy cozy mysteries, that might be one you can beta read for. And then I know I've got two Christian, I'm not really sure what they're called, Christian fantasy, Christian supernatural, I'm not sure. But I've got two Christian books. One is actually a YA, and the other one is not. I was thinking about, because there's a character that's in both of them, so I was thinking if I could kind of mesh the two together. I don't know if that would work, but I have that I need to revise and edit. And then I got another YA coming. Trying to think. I have some romance books, but those are going to be that's going to take me a minute. I'm not sure why. I think I get so hung up on writing about emotions and trauma and dealing with real life stuff and overcoming and all that, that when I go to write a romance, it's just like I get stuck, and sometimes it looks like trauma bonding. Sometimes it looks like, where is the romance? I can do slow burn really, really well. So well that you almost don't even realize that it's they're going to be together at some point. I think with Jesse and Lance from Desperate Girls, theirs is a slow burn. And I've had a couple of people that have mentioned, well, when are they going to get together? Well, they get together, like, you don't see the process. So I'm working on that. It's almost like it's a slow burn, and then boom, they're together. So I'm working on that. I've got two, I want to say two romance novels, or I'm sorry, both of them are novellas that I need to figure out how to make them work, because initially when I started writing, I wanted to write romance, but like I said, the piece of dealing with people and their emotions and how they maneuver through life with their situations, like that's just, I don't know why that, for some reason, well, I do know why, because that's kind of what I do in real life. So it resonates with me, and I like to give a voice to those that don't normally have a voice. So that's why I'm there. But anyway, going back to the ARC reading and the beta reading, if you're interested, there are these other genres that I will be writing or revising and editing to put out. So you're more than welcome to hold off and jump in on that when I actually start writing a genre that you'd prefer to read. I'm not sure who all was on here and why. However, if you're interested, please reach out to me and let me know. And even if you want to read like something like the cozy mystery, if you want to read something that I'm going to be releasing in the future, like a year from now, still reach out to me so I kind of know what genres you like, and I'll keep your name when I get to a book that's in that genre. I do not write all genres. I'm still, because I'm new, I'm trying to find where I fit best. I like the thriller suspense novels. As a matter of fact, I like those with a romance in there that's not like a slow burn, like a tortoise, like a slow turtle. It's creeping along. But I do like that type of book. But I do also like contemporary fiction. Like I said, I've got to dial back a lot of my stuff because turns out being more contemporary than I like it. But yes, so I there's those. That's kind of where I stay. The two Christian fantasy books, like the first time writing those, obviously, I like where they're going, but they need a lot of work. So I'm just trying to find my space. I know one thing you'll never see from me is erotica, because that's just not what I'm going to do. I probably will never do dark romance. I probably will never do, I forgot the name of it. So I didn't think I would ever do cozy mystery, but here I've done it. So I'm never going to say never, because I know for myself sometimes that changes. However, I do know for if it has a curse word in it, I'm not going to do it. Even though two of my books have curses. I think Desperate Girls has the word hell one time, and that's it. And I want to say Baby Pawn might have the word bastard, but only because they're telling a story. Lance is telling his story, and he's saying what somebody else had called him. But that's it. Like, my books are clean. They're no cursing, no sex that is in your face, no violence that is gory. I do have to say, because I deal with real life stuff, there are, especially in Baby Pawn, there are scenes that are sexual in nature, but nothing graphic. So so obviously, like, I'm hoping that if they're here still, that and you're actually opening and listening or reading my newsletters or my blogs, then I'm hoping, that you understand that I do like to write clean books that are, I wouldn't say wholesome, but just clean, because that, for me, like, that's just who I am. So going back to the ARC and beta readers, if you're interested, please reach out to me. I hopefully will know by the next time I do another podcast if I'm going to give out my book Only One Way Out, if I'm going to give that out as a freebie, or if I'm actually going to sell it. I'm not sure yet. If you're interested in reading it, and I've already done beta reading, but if you're interested in reading it, obviously you can sign up to be an ARC reader. If I don't release it, I don't release it, but you still get a free book. So it's good all around. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. This kind of went a little bit over what I intended, but I got out what I need to get out, and hopefully the next one I'm going to try and keep to 15 minutes or so. We'll see how that goes. But my name is Bobby Lou. You're listening to Diary of an Introverted Author, and I hope to catch you on the next podcast. Bye.